Now, McPherson, of course, builds custom guitars, and the customers can pick out their own woods. How would they go about deciding that, and what would make me want to choose spruce over koa?
Or redwood or whatever, you know. Yeah, a koa typically would be, you know, back and sides. Sometimes it's on the top. But the back and the sides make a huge difference in the sound. People think that the top is the only thing that really matters. It's amazing, but the back and sides make a huge difference also. So there is such a wide palette of sounds that you get from all the different types of tone woods out there. I would say, listen, do you want something that's bright? Do you want something that's punchy? Do you want something that's warm? Do you want something that's more complex sounding or something that's a little simpler sounding? If you wanted something that was a little bit simpler, not as complex sounding, a little bit more of just a pure note, I would say, hey, what you would probably be looking for is maybe a maple or the spruces, and the spruce top with a maple back and sides. Something with maybe a little bit more gusto, a little bit more depth. You'd maybe get a mahogany with a spruce. If you want something that's got, you know, a lot of depth to it, and maybe a little bit less mid-range, you would go with the darker woods, like the rosewoods or the ebonies. Ebonies and rosewoods have a tendency to make the sound a little darker, a little richer, which is my preference. This is a rosewood one right here, and it's a spruce top. And to me, it's just got. Now you're holding a redwood. Mm-hmm. That is also one of my favorite sounds. It's got more of a woody sound to it. I don't know how else to say it. It's got a little bit more wood sounding to it, a little bit more complex, and it's warmer sounding. So depending on what you're playing, if you're playing in a band, you probably want a little brighter guitar. If it's like in a bigger, you know, where you got a full group. If you're playing a little bit more solo, you might want to consider more of the redwoods or the cedars, or certainly at least the rosewood back and sides.
And you can also choose from different body sizes.
Yeah, the top is always the same shape. So it doesn't change size this way, but it changes size from the thickness on the back here. So what we've done is the neck up here is always the same. It's always 4 inches. And then they taper down to 3.5 inches. We will actually even go down as far as a 3-inch, which would be called a 3.0. This is a 3.5. You can see that it tapers from thicker to thin towards the butt end, which again is the area you're kind of holding on to. So it feels like a small guitar, even though
it doesn't sound like one.
No. So what you'll find is on a 4.5, which is kind of a standard, it would be 1 inch thicker than this. And we actually go up as high as a 5.0, so 5 inches total. So the thickness here, in other words, how it tapers from here to here, it may taper thicker or may stay the same, because a 4.0 would be the same thickness all the way down, or a 3.0, which would be the very thinnest we'd ever make, would actually continue to taper this way. So it just depends on how it fits your body. Obviously, your bigger guitars are going to be a little bolder sounding, a little bit deeper sounding, a little bit more resonance.